Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And I did some more water transfer today and a few other things because I did have to go to town today. I was all completely out of dog food and couldn't have that, so I had to go and spend some money I didn't have. But it's amazing how you can do that. Paying interest on dog food's not my favorite thing to do. Anyway, the dogs got fed, except now little girl and Susie Q are missing today. And having a clue where they are, I called out for supper time and they didn't show up. They left Doggy Daddy home to watch the pups. So he's been real diligent about staying right here and keeping an eye on the pups. So anyway, with that being said, I did pump more water, and this is a 2,500 gallon tank with an $840 gallon extension. See how I'm thinking about money? 840 gallon extension with the barrels around the outside. There's 14 barrels at 60 gallons. So right now those barrels are half full all the way around. So I have 420 gallons in the barrels. And then I have right up to the top step or the platform of the top of the stairs, full that deep in the tank, which is about half full of a 2,500, so that's 1,250 plus 420, that's 1,700 gallons, and that's a good thing. That should carry me on for a while. And I already treated the water, and it was forced through a filter before it went up here, and it'll go through 2 more filters before it comes back down to the cabin. And before it gets used for any cooking or anything like that, it goes through another purification filter that removes any chemicals or drugs or anything else like that that might be in the water. It takes it all out down to a half a micron, and that's real safe water, so nothing to worry about there. The rest of the water, if I ever get this inheritance settled, I will be able to fill the tank up completely. But before I do that, I'll be draining that tank down all the way to nothing. And I'll drain it down to everything I've got down here in totes, so that the water can be used for the garden through the summer. And then I'll have it refilled with the fresh water that I get from the truck delivery. But before I have a fresh load of water going into that tank, I'll be cleaning out the inside of the tank, vacuuming it, drying it up completely, and then I put chlorine, swimming pool chlorine, in a sprayer. And I go in there and I spray all the walls and the floor with swimming pool chlorine and leave the cover off for a couple hours so that the chlorine gases clear out. And I know you all want to know how in the heck I do that inside the tank. Well, ask me. If you ask me, and you ask me nice in comments, I just might tell you. And I might show you. So I unloaded the soil from the trailer. I've got it wrapped up in plastic over there so that it doesn't dry out in the sun. And if it rains, the rain can get through there. Well, look at this. You lucky dogs found one of the other big dog's shoes. And now you're going to chase each other and have a tug of war over it. They're so funny. Now I'm hearing dogs barking over there at the Midnight Mechanics. So I'm wondering if that's where Susie Q and Little Girl are. But anyway, I just shut off the transfer of water, so now I gotta shut off this valve right here so that it doesn't leak out through the little leaks in the hose, and empty the rest of my tank because I still want to pump that 135, 140 gallons or so, that part up there. This one I'm saving for the garden, and what's left up in there is the bottom of the tank, so that's going to go down to the garden area also. So my neighbor that I made that big heavy-duty security door for had told me before I built it, told me he had a set of those walk-in freezer heavy-duty hinges that we were going to use to hang that door. Well, last night he says, bad news. I just remembered I used those for something else. And he calls me old man. Yeah, right. So anyway, I says, well, if you've got some flat stock steel, 3/16 to a 1/4 inch thick, I'll make the hinges. So he said he did have some, and I said, fine. So this is basically what's going to happen. As you can see, I made 2 of these, and this one, I just put the metal plates there to see how I was going to align them. So this metal plate will actually be 3 inches wide and 6 inches tall. And then this will be welded to the bottom end of it. So when it hangs on it, because these pins can pull out, see? So I milled and ran these on my lathe and made the shapes I needed. And I've got them all grinded ready for welding. So the top halves, the ones with the pin on them, which is this half, I welded the tops of the pins in. This one still needs to be grinded and cleaned. But I welded this one and cleaned it already. Then the piece that goes on there, that's the arm, the long piece, that would be 12 inches long. And I'm going to have an extra piece of round stock welded here, going down on an angle to the center of the arm for that extra strength, so it doesn't want to twist on with the weight of the door hanging on it. So he's going to get that metal to me ASAP, and before this all goes together, the pins will be completely greased down with marine grease. And for those of you who don't know what marine grease is, it's what keeps Marines from squeaking. No, sorry, Marines. Marine grease is right here. Okay, so if I can pop the cover off one-handed here and give you a look inside. So it's a blue colored grease, and this stuff is water repellent. Oh, I better put that up there. So this stuff is water repellent and will keep from washing away, and it'll keep those pins well lubricated so you get a minimum of wear. Of course, the door isn't going to be like the door on a house or a storefront or anything like that where it's opened 1,000 times a day. It'll only be opened a couple of times a month or so, so it's not like it's going to get an extra amount of wear on it. But anyway, that's what I did today, and the dogs are already starting to learn from Doggy Daddy how to lay underneath a bush and be stealthy. So anyway, that's what I got, everybody. It's starting to cool off here. When I went to town today, I figured since I was buying the dogs all that stuff, I just threw in a sirloin steak for myself. So I'm going to make a sirloin steak with onions from the garden and mushrooms. And I'll saute the mushrooms and onions with some garlic in a little bit of butter and vegetable oil. And I'll just pour that. Well, you know what? I might even dice up some jalapeno pepper and throw that in there, and I'll use that as a gravy on the steak. And of course, a baked potato along with that won't hurt. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is G Bear signing off.